Welcome to Body Energetics, evidence-based spirituality to get happy, healthy, and hot. I'm your host, Lauren Saracione, and I've been in fitness for over 22 years. I've also had 3 major healing events where I learned something new and deeper about the mind-body connection. It is my mission to help you get happy, healthy, and hot. So whether you're here for mindset work to get happy, emotional work to get healthy, or owning your desires and who you be to get hot, Body Energetics is for you. Welcome to episode 8 of Body Energetics, evidence-based spirituality to get happy, healthy, and hot. I did not put verbal disclaimers on the previous episodes, but I want to take the opportunity right now to say this does not replace professional advice from a doctor or even a personal trainer. These episodes or this entire podcast is me sharing my experience being a human while also having a fitness career and everything that I've learned of the expertise that goes along to fitness and diet and nutrition, along with the personal healing experience, notably with inner child work to heal my body with 3 different health crises that I had. And so this podcast is me just sharing with you everything that I've learned so that I can give you information and kind of send you on your way with some of the experts and doctors that I used, and then also inspire you and share with you some of my stories and see if that helps you relate to yourself and create the healing experience within yourself. So this is the last episode for now for the evidence-based podcast episodes. These episodes are all the tools that I used in the last 13 years that really helped me put myself back together. There's going to be more evidence-based episodes that are about science or psychology or whatever in the future. But for right now, this is the final before we move into some of the larger spiritual concepts that I came across and intuited in my healing journey. Today, we're talking about HeartMath Institute and their breathing technique called brain and heart coherence breathing. There are 2 stories that I want to share with you that inspired me to get certified with them versus a different breathwork certification. And then we're going to do a little bit of brain and heart coherency breathing together. So first of all, HeartMath Institute studies the energy of the planet. They have devices all over the earth to measure the energy. They measure groups of people when groups of people get into coherency. And then, of course, they measure singular human bodies of the brain and heart being coherent. Brain and heart coherency means that the energetic state and the rhythmic state of the heart in a peaceful, non-trauma, zero-threat rhythm and state of being influences the brain waves. So we have all different types of brain waves, and theta are the waves that put us in the hypnotic state of like download, creativity thoughts, solution thoughts. And theta brainwaves are a lot of what we were in our ages 0 to 7. But of course, we had slower and lower brainwaves when we were more in an infant state. So brain and heart coherence breathing allows you to get the heart in a peaceful state where there is 0 threat, 0 stress, which then translates into the brain for the brain to function creatively and solution-based versus under threat. When we get into brain and heart coherency breathing, we're tapping into the feminine energetics, otherwise known as goddess or the female godhead. And then we're also tapping into the masculine energetics or God or the male godhead. And we're doing this within the 2 organs. And all the organs, I'm like trying to reflect. I haven't really talked about it on other evidence podcast episodes, but all of our organs, every single one of them has a metaphysical function and metaphor. And the brain is associated with masculine energetics of thought, and the heart is associated with feminine energetics of feeling. And when we're in brain and heart coherence breathing, we get to be surrounded by God's love. And that was something from Gregg Braden that really stood out to me. So let's start with that story. Gregg Braden is a geologist, and he spent more than 40 years going all over the world studying religious and spiritual practices and bringing them into our modern times and really helping us bring back the spirituality that got split with that age of Descartes, when what could be measured went to science and what couldn't be measured went to religion. So Gregg Braden was giving a lecture. I got to see him in person. He was giving a lecture about the forgotten prayer, which I'll reference that exact story in just a second. What he was referencing was scripture, and he was breaking down scripture from the New Testament where Jesus was talking about being surrounded by God's love. And Gregg broke down the meaning of the words back then, and he revealed from other translations the words that were omitted from other translations. And that pissed me off. And if you listened to the Divided Mind episode, you know about Dr. John Sarno and inner anger. I still have these flares of inner anger, and it's definitely something I'm still working on letting go of. However, the point of me sharing this with you is when I saw that there were words omitted from the Bible, it pissed me off, because the more I researched the omitted words, the more I was like, well, that was like a third of the code for us to understand how to connect with God. Why was this taken out? Who took out this word? Because this word changes the entire context of what the scripture was conveying. So after I got through being angry about that segment of our spiritual connection being taken out of our human history, I was fascinated that we could connect to God through our breathing, through the functions of our brain and our heart. So I was like, oh my God, like I want to learn how to do this. And the forgotten prayer, as I mentioned a few seconds ago, Gregg has this audio, and it was like $5 or something. So I bought this audio years and years and years ago, and it was about the forgotten prayer. And I'm like, ooh, like I want to know what that is. And he tells the story of being with an indigenous tribe's chief. And I don't remember what continent, I don't remember any of the details. But Gregg and this chief go on a walk to pray for rain. So they go on a walk and then they stop, but no words are being said. And when the prayer was over, Gregg says to the chief, "You didn't say anything." And he goes, "No, but I felt gratitude for the rain, and I felt the rain hit my face, and I felt the mud between my toes." The forgotten prayer is that we're getting ourselves into the feeling state of having experienced the thing. And when we're in the feeling state of whatever experience it is that we want, we are also imagining that experience, right? Like we're creating a projector. Like I feel like our forehead is a movie, and from the back of our head, maybe even our third eye is acting like this projector for us to see in our visualization with our eyes shut what life would be like experiencing that thing. So for instance, the rain. So if I'm doing a forgotten prayer of rain, then I'm closing my eyes so that I can focus on my mental picture instead of the picture of my life. And I'm visualizing the rain coming down and hitting trees. I'm listening to the sound of the rain hit the leaves. I'm feeling the squishiness of the mud between my toes. I'm feeling the drips of water going down my face. And I'm like, wow, this is so amazing. We so needed this rain for our crops. I'm so grateful we have this rain, because now I can see the crops growing, and now I can visualize harvesting, and now I can visualize cooking, and now I can visualize selling my produce. So I'm getting a roof over my head. I'm getting fed. I'm having a beautiful cultural experience with food, all because of this rain. So that image is the masculine energetics of thought, of frequency that goes out into the field, that then the feeling sensation of the feminine energetics, or the feeling sensation of the body, acts as a magnet to then pull the thing towards you. So you're doing, quote unquote, law of attraction with your breath. And well, with your visualization and your feeling, and the breath comes in to regulate the body so that the body can stay in a mental and emotional state that's together of gratitude, of this is the thing that I would like, this is how good it would feel if I get it, and I am so grateful for this. And then the body gets to regulate itself because it's in a feeling of peace and whatever emotions go along with that thing that you're visualizing, and gratitude. It's like gratitude is the bow that goes on your manifestation box. Gratitude is the thing that kind of like sends a signal to be like, this body, this thing right here wants all of those things. Let's magnetize to it. When I started to understand how brain and heart coherence breathing was working with energy, I got really, really, really excited and inspired, and I felt like so much enthusiasm that connecting to source was as simple as having a clear visual and then having the sensation of having that thing and experiencing gratitude. So that got me really excited about it. And then when I went through the certification to really learn how it worked, I was so fascinated. What they did is they measured what emotions got the brain and heart in the most coherent state and created the most consistent theta brain waves, which are our meditation brain waves. They are our creative, relaxed brain waves. Those emotions are love, joy, appreciation, kindness, and care. And they would say, like, if you're going to visualize love and you're really heartbroken, sometimes it's really hard to access the feeling of love. But care, right? Love, joy, appreciation, kindness, care. Care is like 1/5 of love. But care can be a little bit easier to access, especially on the bad days, because we can kind of be like, okay, well, I know what it is to take care of my car. I know what it is to take care of my hair. I know what it is when somebody opens the door for me. That would be more like kindness. We can reach for emotions that are accessible to us, but they're still going to yield this effect in the brain waves to get into theta, where we can leave the chaotic stress of our mind and into, like God's mind, God's love, a loving mind, a mindset that's not based on fear and separation. So love, joy, appreciation, kindness, care. I really started to look at these as a code because emotions are energy and motion. And we have the emotional scale that you could Google and you'll see a picture. Usually it's a spiral. And some of the images will show you the name of the emotion along with the frequency of it. So like 528, I believe 528 is the heart chakra frequency. There's 963, I believe, or like 962, that's for your pineal gland. There's frequency 174, which I absolutely love. 174 is like a very low bass tone that helps you get into your body and it helps relieve pain. So when I'm looking at love, joy, appreciation, kindness, care, and I'm looking at emotions as they are an energetic frequency that we can measure with devices with sound, and they are an emotion, they are a feeling that we use emotions to describe, right? Like emotion is the word, but the experience is the feeling, and it has an energetic frequency. So when I started to see this all line up as a code, almost like an energetic fitness code, I was like, well, check, check, check. I can work with this. I could program this the same way I could program a fitness routine, right? So I was like really excited about this. I started to look at the opposite emotions. And the opposite emotion of love is not actually fear, it's indifference. Love, joy, opposite of joy, sadness. Love, joy, appreciation. Opposite of appreciation is depression. Opposite of kindness is shame. Is it shame? Yes. Opposite of care is guilt. So when I was looking at the opposite emotions, I was like, okay, so if our goal in a body, a nervous system that's regulated, and a regulated nervous system, and an emotionally intelligent, regulated human being, the goal is to remain in neutral with whatever experience we're having in life. And I believe that neutral means no judgment, because if your mom dies and you have a good relationship with your mom, you're going to be sad. You're not going to be in a neutral state. But maybe we don't attach meaning that, like, well, if I had just called her back, she wouldn't have left the house. If I had just not bitched her out, she wouldn't have gotten caught in that car accident. If I had just, like, I think neutral means that you don't attach a meaning to it versus not experiencing the emotional state of it. I started to look at different areas of life to see where on the spectrum of love to indifference, joy to sadness, appreciation to depression, kindness to shame, care to guilt, where in my life did I have these experiences, and where on the emotional spectrum did I have those life experiences? So I just went through every category of life on the wheel of life, like your health, your career, your relationships, your romance, your family. Well, I took a look at everything, and it allowed me to play with energy. It allowed me to get the concept that energy is conducted. It is directed with your brain and your heart, with your thoughts and your feelings, with your mind and your body. And doing the energetic work by looking at it as a spectrum of emotion for a neutral experience, right? Like, you could think life is a game. You could think life is about winning. You could think that life is only about family. You could think that life is about growing. You could think whatever it is that, like, you think the neutral experience of life is, that's going to dictate how you operate. So when I was looking at how do these neutral experiences that everybody has a slightly different experience with, even though they could have similar emotions, what are they for me? And if there was something that I was like, okay, like, I'm still holding, I'll put fear in there as a like a secondary emotion, but like fear, indifference, depression, guilt, and shame, and sadness, like, where do I still experience these things? How can I clean that area up? And when I was able to clean those areas up based on those negative emotions, I got to an energetic state of neutrality. And that energetic state of neutrality made my habit changes on my most recent healing experience easier, which they were to be more sedentary, to not exercise as much as I used to. I went to like lifting really heavy weights most days to walking 6 miles a day and lifting no weights, and going from eating whatever I wanted to sticking with a really regimented anti-inflammatory diet. This really lended itself into other concepts that I'm going to be teaching you in other episodes, because it gave me this new way to look at emotions as codes, and that we could remove a code, even though, like, you're not really removing it, but like, you remove a code and you put another code in, and then you compound the energy by your habit. So all this energy work that I learned because of brain and heart coherence breathing lended itself to understanding how the energy work, the thoughts and feelings work together with your habit change, and how doing the habit change provokes some negative emotions from coming up to be processed, and how being in brain and heart coherence breathing and putting yourself into states of love, joy, appreciation, kindness, care turns your body so it makes you secrete regenerative molecules of emotion from your brain. So when you're thinking in brain and heart coherence breathing, you're visualizing you have regenerative molecules of emotion secreting from your brain. And they go into your cells. They reduce inflammation. They get the DNA to express itself in ease. And when you're in brain and heart coherence breathing, your vibrational signal changes to be a magnet for a high vibe experience. So it was like mind-blowing to me that this simple little practice was doing energy work with your earth body and your non-physical bodies. It was uniting the two, which now I just remembered another thing. Okay, one more thing before we do some brain and heart coherence breathing. Okay, are you ready for this one? This is very obscure. Anytime I mention this to people, they have no idea what I'm talking about, but it is on the internet. Ascensionglossary.com is a great resource for the spiritually inclined, for the starseed inclined individuals out there. On ascensionglossary.com, they talk about the nadial complex. So the nadial complex is a feminine energetic circuit board on the back of your heart chakra. And we'll be talking about these in the light body and earth body connection episodes to come. We'll go in depth with it. The nadial complex is on the back of your heart chakra, and we get disconnected from it. We get separated from it. Separation consciousness, fear mindset. That nadial complex connects to the nadial system. The nadial system is the energetic twin to your nervous system. So if you visualize your brain, and then you visualize your spinal cord, and you visualize the nerves coming out of your vertebra, and then just make it pretty holographic colors, that's your nadial system. When you do brain and heart coherence breathing, you calm down the physical heart, which then allows your high heart or your energetic heart to activate. And this kind of goes into some ancient scripture you could probably get your hands on if you Google it, that indigenous cultures taught their children to think with their heart, not their brain. Because the heart is, when it's connected, when it's in a loving environment, when it's not under threat, when it's not separated by trauma, big T or little t trauma, or our childhood wounds, it's smarter than your brain because you get to use your spiritual intuition that's connected to everything. So when I learned this about brain and heart coherence breathing, that's what it was also doing energetically. When you connect human heart to the high heart, to the nadial complex, to the nadial system, it's like you are plugging yourself into all of your bodies throughout the entire universe. So at this point, when I do my brain and heart coherence breathing, I am inhaling the positive emotion that I'm focusing on, and I exhale, and I call it, I'm building my field, where I blow out a globe around me. And every inhale brings the globe a little bit closer, but every exhale makes it expand bigger than the exhale before it. And things will move around for me in different ways. And recently, what's been happening is I've been seeing all of my chakras from all my spiritual bodies from here to infinity line up in a straight column, so that I'm fully connected as an energetic beam of consciousness of all of the energy centers aligned and working together, and almost like it's creating this funnel that I connect the funnel down into the center of the earth, and I connect it to a star in Andromeda. And you can DM me if you have questions about that. But I connect above and below. And that really helps me remind myself that I'm more than my body, while it's still doing stuff to my mental, emotional body here with the molecules of emotion that are getting secreted in that moment, and the nervous system regulation that's happening in that moment, and the creative insights that come in that moment, as well as me staying focused on, I'm not alone. I'm not separated. I have all these other energetic bodies that are aspects of my consciousness, and I'm connected to God, God the Father in my head, God the Mother in my heart. I am the divine child. I'm good. It helps me stay connected. So, are you ready to breathe? Should we breathe right now? Let's do it. So, if you're not driving or you're not on a piece of cardio equipment, we are going to do some brain and heart coherence breathing with your eyes closed. And if you are doing something right now, you know what? Get your notes out on your phone, because you might get some good intelligence from yourself in this intuitive state. And so we'll get into it now. So close your eyes and place your hand on your heart and feel a sense of appreciation for you. You in all your humanness, for showing up to this life, for listening to a podcast such as this to help you reconnect, to self-heal, to change your mind to become happy and not anxious, to change your body to be healthy, and then really own exactly what you want for yourself, whether it's getting hot in your body or anything else that you are setting a goal for. Just have appreciation for this moment right now that you showed up. And then slowly start to breathe in for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Inhaling. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Continue breathing with that slow breath. And then visualize something that, if you experienced it in real life, would make you feel love, joy, appreciation, kindness, or care. What does it look like, sound like, smell like, feel like? Love, joy, appreciation, kindness, or care. Stay visualizing for 45 more seconds. And then slowly come back to this moment. And that is the brain and heart coherence breathing. That's it. Hand on the heart, because that directs you to focus on the heart. Appreciation for yourself. Breathing in for 5 seconds, breathing out for 5 seconds, and visualizing something that would make you feel from the outside in. Love, joy, appreciation, kindness, care. So if it's falling in love, if it's cuddling with a kitten or a puppy, if it's going on vacation, if it's swimming in an infinity pool on a mountaintop, if it's someone saying, I love you, if it's having more money at the end of the month than how many bills you still have, like, what would make you feel those emotions? And you just play that movie in your head. And you let the energy do its thing. You let the molecules of emotion do its thing. And sometimes you will try to feel one of those positive emotions, and all you can feel is its opposite, or doubt. I always tell people, this is like, it's okay. It's not necessarily good. Like, you'd rather just feel the good emotion. But what it is doing is giving you the contrast. And all of this work, mental emotional work, is all about making the unconscious conscious. Because we know that the health of our body, the state of our mind, and the relationship dynamics that we have, the issues that we have with our body, with money, with our career, all of those are coming from unconscious beliefs and subconscious patterns that when you are purposely feeling good, sometimes that's so off to that unconscious vibration that's in you that all you can feel now is the unconscious vibration being like, who are you? What are you doing? We are not happy. We are not joyful. We are sad. And it's actually a good thing because you're just cutting to the chase. And if you can sit with those emotions and journal those emotions and be like, why is this so hard to feel joy? What is going on in me with sad? What could I possibly be sad about? What was it like in my 0 to 3? What was it like in my 4 to 7? What was it like when I was 8 to 12? What was my teenage years like? Is there anything in me that's sad that's sticking with me? I feel like my emotions that I deal with and I circle back to processing like every couple of months is sadness and anger. And they show up in different areas of life. They show up in slightly different areas of my body, although I still get the same symptoms, like it's upper back tension, neck tension, eye tension. And those emotions are sadness and disappointment that are stored up here in the upper body. So I'm just sharing this with you because the healing process is not a one and done, especially because we will always have emotions, because we will always have energy. And it really comes down to, are we being present with ourselves? Are we managing the stress in our life, or are we letting life run us? And then are we connecting to that inner child where all of this energy and mental, emotional thoughts and feelings are actually stemming from? So that is the end of this episode. We are done for evidence-based podcast episodes for now, although I will be sharing more evidence stuff in the future, especially because I'm not done with my healing journey. I'm still researching and still listening to different experts and doctors and scientists and spiritual leaders. And so I'll be sharing with you more stuff. But after this episode, I'm going to give you introductions to the more spiritual, my intuition, spiritual type stuff. So let me just read them off to you real quick. The next episode will be about the hero's journey, which is about your chakras and stages of development in your human condition. About awake. Awake is really my perception and my experience in the age of Aquarius, and having the placements that I have in my chart that lend to how I perceive with my intuition. We're going to get into attachment theory and self-love, and how we can really look at how we have detached from ourself through big T, little t, and childhood, the 4 main childhood wounds. About body energetics coding system and self-image. That's where we're really looking at the mind-body connection of our mindset and our body image based on our body parts, and using those body parts as a code. The rule of 3, which is how I teach you the energetics of the divine father, divine mother, and then us being the holy child. This is like quantum physics. This is also a couple of metaphors of a trinity that's within your own family, and the reason why a holy family is part of my awakeness, of my healing process. Then I have 4. It's all the 3x4 framework, but there's 4 types of episodes that are going to come out of this, where I'm taking you through mental, emotional, just always think energy when I say mental, emotional practices for the mental body, the emotional body, the physical body, and the spiritual body, plus the real life 3D stuff that you do to make that energy manifest in a new way. And then finally, the last category is the earth body and the light body. I kind of touched on it a little bit, and that's really going to help you stay connected to a larger purpose and a larger reason, kind of like a larger reason for your pain, because when we continue to stay in a separated mindset that whatever happened, big T, little t, or the childhood wounds, when those things happen to us, we don't stop loving the person who hurt us. We stop loving ourself. And ourself is not just our human. It's your light body that is, like, just like you have like skeleton and joints and muscles to move your body, you have energetic parts that are part of you. And these things can kind of get lost and snagged and on the anti-material side, on the non-physical side. And when you can relate to them and kind of put those back together and conceptualize those, because they are energy, they are going to influence your thoughts, feelings, and your actions. And so it's kind of complex, but it's really helped me a lot. And especially if you relate to the Awake episodes where we're talking about what it is to be in the age of Aquarius, what it is for Pluto to be stationing where it's stationing until 2044, I think, what it is to have Mercury in Aquarius. I have Mercury in Aquarius. And what that all is going to play into our current civilization and how we are relating to ourselves, to God, and to the world. This is pretty deep stuff. Oh my God. We should hang up now, right? All right. Thank you so much for being here. And here's to being happy, healthy, and hot. Oops, I forgot to mention we have our first community call this Saturday at 1 p.m. Pacific time. That's January 27th, 2024. You can enter to win my Dragon water bottle or my Darkness and Light mug by sharing a screenshot of you listening to an episode and tagging Body Energetics. You'll be entered into our monthly draw. Go to bodyenergetics.com to sign up for the podcast list, where you'll get podcast episodes delivered to your inbox, the Zoom details for our call, and a link to our Facebook community. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you found it helpful, please head over and give us a 5-star rating and leave a review for how this was helpful for you. This is going to help me spread the word faster into more people who need this information to self-heal. Join us at facebook.com/group/bodyenergetics, where we have discussions about the episodes. Go to bodyenergetics.com so that you can sign up for my newsletter to make sure that you never miss an episode. And that's the place that you're going to get invited to our Zoom discussion that we have every single month. Tag us on social media, Body Energetics, and we will reshare your tag and enter you into our monthly drawing to win our really cute water bottle or our really cool mug.